So here's the deal. For the Comic Book Time Machine YouTube channel, what I wanted to do was to get some of those blind bags I really like to open. And those blind bags I like to open are not like the random ones you get on eBay or something like that, which I might start getting because they're fun, but I'm more interested in getting these kind of blind bags. Now, this is not a blind bag per se because you can see what's in there. But I love these. These are a thing from my childhood where I remember getting these, and that's how I became a Trekkie. Honestly, my first Star Trek experience came from, my first positive Star Trek experience came from one of these bags where I got a bag. There's a Star Wars comic on this side, a Star Wars comic on that side, and then on the inside there was a Star Trek comic. And that was my first positive experience with Star Trek, and that's really what started kind of my Star Trek fandom. Okay, but these bags, I've done these on my podcast before, and this YouTube channel I'm kind of wanting to do in conjunction with the podcast, where I open it up and see what's inside, and then I read it, and then I report on it. My plan was to do a visual YouTube thing that would be used with my podcast, and that I would open it up, show what's inside, and then that would end the video. But then if you wanted to see, how I like the comics, you could check out the podcast and see my report there. But I'm not sure, still not sure how that's going to work. I do know this. This is the one that I planned to start with, because this is the one that is from Target. And they were selling them at Target. I think it was $6, but I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was $6. They don't sell them anymore. You can find them on eBay way overpriced, but every once in a while you'll find someone who's selling it for a reasonable price. But I had this left over from when I was buying them from Target, and this was saved for a rainy day. And I decided this is probably the best way for me to turn around and start the YouTube thing with opening these bags. And so this was going to be what I started with. I don't know if this is what I'm going to start with now because of what happened just this week. Just this week, there was a press release from Walmart saying that they were changing their relationship with DC Comics. And what they were going to do is they're going to switch over, instead of doing the 100-page giants, which featured reprints of about 4 different comics in each one. Some of them were not reprints of 4 full comics, they were reprints of multiple short stories from different issues. And so they had the Our Fighting Forces one and the Beyond the Unknown one that both took kind of a different tack, where the Fighting Forces one were just these short military-based stories, and the Beyond the Unknown had a couple comic-length stories, but then some other short stories in there. And they were 100-page giants. They were at first exclusive to Walmart, and then they turned around and started doing them with the second round, the second wave, where comic shops would get them a couple weeks after Walmart got them. A couple weeks ago, DC announced that they weren't going to be shipping some of those 100-page giants to comic book shops. And that included Swamp Thing number 5, which I already had, and it included the other, like Flash and Titans and all that kind of thing. So that announcement made some people wonder, have they canceled the 100-page giant thing altogether? Which, to me, with this, I'm a completionist, and so when they started the first wave, I bought all of them. Now, having read all of them, I'm trying to figure out how do I get rid of all of them. They were fun, don't get me wrong, but when they started the second wave, I dropped all of them. I didn't buy any of the Superman, any of the Wonder Woman, any of the Batman, any Flash. They added Aquaman in the second wave. Didn't buy any of that, even though Aquaman is my second favorite superhero, and depending on when you ask me, sometimes he inches toward first favorite superhero, but he's around there, second, third, just depends on how I'm feeling. But those would have been a triple dip for me, because I'd already bought the single issues, and I bought the collected editions of all of these comics that they were going to be reprinting in the Aquaman 100-page giants. Now, they did have some new stories in those 100-page giants, and they were kind of linked together. At least that's the way it was working for Swamp Thing, of course. So for Swamp Thing, I did continue buying it. And I was also buying the one-shots, and Swamp Thing was reprinting a miniseries, a 6-issue miniseries that was written by Len Wein, and it was drawn by, I can't remember his name now, Kelly. I can't remember if that's his first or last name, just doesn't matter. I don't have notes for this episode, and so I'm just going to keep on going. But that was a 6-issue miniseries that they were reprinting in there, along with John Constantine Hellblazer and Zatanna. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to go 6 issues and maybe it'll stop then. Now, they also had original stories, or 2 short original stories in each one, and those were pretty good stuff. And I was enjoying that. But it did, with the 5th issue, look like maybe they could end it there. But, there could be more with these 2 ongoing short story series that they were doing. I just figured they were going to go to issue 6 with it because that's what the miniseries that they were reprinting went to. Well, I might be wrong, because there was a press release this week, just on Monday or Tuesday, I think it was, announcing a change in their relationship between DC and Walmart. And they said they were switching over to a different format of delivering comic books. Now, it's in the same location, but it's this new format, and it's in the format of that thing that I really appreciate, this style right here, where you have the blind bag. You can see what's here, you can see what's here, and what's inside. You don't know. This has 4 comics. I don't know what those middle ones are. Now, when I was looking for these in the store, especially when I was a kid, I would always kind of just peek in there and see, like, what can you see? Well, I can see a M16 machine gun. It's issue 37 of something. I am assuming that I'm either looking at a Punisher comic or a Nom comic. And so I would do that kind of cheat thing. And, oh yeah, this one is it's from First Comics, but I have no idea what the title is. And, yeah. So that's what they're doing. Now, they've already been doing this a little bit. In fact, I've done a podcast episode about how they're kind of cheating or tricking you, the buying audience, because they were doing reprints of comic books and calling them a #1. And so they kind of tricked me. I had opened some. I bought a pack of, it was only $10, and it had multiple packs in there of 3. And it had Night of the Monster Men, I think is what the title was, #1, which was a Batman crossover series that they did that crossed over 3 different titles in, I think, 5 different issues or 6 issues. And they said it was #1 of that series. Well, it actually was a reprint of like Batman #37 or something like that, which... to me, that was kind of a trick, kind of a cheat. However, even though it wasn't actually a #1, because I thought this is a jumping on point kind of thing, but no, it's actually, it's a reprint. They give it a new title, give it a #1, but then it's actually from, they did it with Wonder Woman 2, where it's like number 1, but it's actually number 21 or something like that. The Night of the Monster Men, as much as I felt like I've been cheated, it actually was pretty good, and I actually ended up buying the collected edition of it because I was really intrigued, and it actually ended up being a really, really fun read. So it worked. It worked, that whole little thing of having these comics in the collectible section of Walmart. I bought it. I read it. It was the only one out of, I think, 10 comics in that package that actually intrigued me enough to follow through. But it did intrigue me enough, and when I did buy the collected edition, I really enjoyed myself. It was a lot of fun. Now, here's what they're doing. This is the new thing. And this is, instead, for this episode, I'm not going to open up this. This is going to be, I don't know, save it for the next one, maybe. I'm opening this one here. This is how they're doing this. They're doing 5 of them right now. There is one that features, the front one is Batman. Obviously, I've got that right here. They've got a Superman one, a Batman one, Justice League one, a Wonder Woman one, and an Aquaman one. So again, they're kind of theming it out. So these are the hot things, the live action DC movies. These are going to be their most recognizable characters. I was disappointed there was not a Swamp Thing one. But I was also disappointed to find out that, it's not random in here. Now, I shouldn't say I was disappointed to find that out. It makes sense that it's not random. What I was really disappointed about was to find out that these are all really, really recent comics. And so they're not going to be like from 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago even. And so I have this. Here's my problem, is that I have a problem. At least I can recognize that I have this problem, but I'm a completionist. And so I'm very, very careful what I let myself get into. You can ask anyone who knows me about my Funko Pop collection, which is, I got all of the TV Marvel stuff, Coulson, May, Quake, and then I did get Nick Fury and Agent Carter. I got Nick Fury because he was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And so basically I got that ABC, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter, and then I said, no more. I am not going any further. I'm not going to get into Daredevil and all of the Netflix stuff, and no more. I'm not going to get into Star Wars because there's just, in that direction lies madness for me. I did allow myself to get into the Muppet side of Funko Pops. So I have the Fraggles and Dark Crystal and Labyrinth. I have not gotten any of the new Dark Crystal stuff from the Netflix series. We'll see about that. But I do have Jim Henson holding Kermit, and that's a really fantastic Funko Pop. But I know that if I start getting into anything else, I'm just going to not be able to stop myself. And that's not a good thing for me. And so there's four comics in here, one awesome mini poster, but the awesome mini poster links up with the other 4 sets. And so this one says this is pack, includes image 1 of 5. And they're using that to draw you in, get you to buy it all. So I just don't know if I'm going to go ahead and buy it all, but I did want to at least open up one package for my thing, because it's what I do. It's what I love to do. And Walmart is doing this. Now, I do know that there are lists out there explaining what's in inside each one of these. And so I might take a look at that list. I don't know. My thing is, I'm not all that interested in modern comics. I don't follow anything regularly that's modern except for Swamp Thing. I mean, I've dropped Aquaman a long time ago. I don't buy the individual issues. I haven't bought any of the collections in a while. So what I like about this kind of thing, though, is that it allows me to get kind of a random sampler of what's going on. And so that's kind of fun. And so for me, this becomes a reason to read some modern comics, just see what's going on, see what's happening. So I'm going to open this up right now for this video, talk a little bit about what's inside. I'm not going to format this the way I formatted some other, like I explained doing this. If I was opening this one, then the format would be I'd open it, talk about what's inside, just explore a little bit what's inside, and then shut down the video, and then do a follow-up in my podcast after I've read the 4 different issues. I'm not going to do that for this one. Unless I really find it fantastic. What I'll probably do is, if I do the next set, which I think was the Superman one, I'm not sure, but what I probably would do if I get that, if I do that, then I will just do a follow-up and say I really enjoyed this comic or not. But I am going to read these. I'm just not going to make it a double-sized episode for my podcast. Instead, it's just here on YouTube. It might get repurposed for the audio podcast, but I'm not going. This is not part 1 of 2. You're not missing out on anything. So I'm opening it up now. And man, when I was a kid, this was the most exciting part. What's inside? What's in the middle there? So let's start with just how this is formatted. And I got 4 issues here. Maybe I should have looked a little closer to the lists because we'll get into it, but there's a double dip already happening here. So this is the Batman picture from the interlocking poster that they've got. This is the Batman side. So that is from the poster. Am I going to keep this? Probably not. I'm not a completionist for things that are going to go up on my wall because I just don't have room on my wall right now. The one that we already knew about is Batman number 89. And Batman number 89, yeah, this is June, looks like 2020. The fine print is so fine, and I need glasses, and I don't have my glasses. But yeah, so, well, these ads are recognizable from some earlier or recent stuff that I've looked at. But okay, so Batman number 89, the title page is usually in the back these days. Okay, so this is James Tynion IV, who is writing Justice League Dark, a series that I am following because of Swamp Thing. But this is part 4 of their Dark Designs. So yeah, just jumping right in the middle of a story right there. Might not be a bad thing though. I mean, like happened with the Night of the Monster Man. Of course, that was the first chapter, but this might be something that causes me to track down the other issues. Then again, I see that it also features a character I cannot stand, Harley Quinn, and I just do not enjoy reading Harley Quinn comics. In fact, I have my fill from those 100-page giants because the Batman ones had Harley Quinn in it. Moving on, we have Detective Comics, which this is issue number 1022. The last Detective comic that I bought was issue number 1000. Again, I'm going to turn to the back here, and this is July 2020, and it has an ad for Scoob. Went to print before they knew that it wasn't going to go to theaters, because only in theaters May 15th. Not true. Okay, so looking for the title page on this one. It's at the front. This is part 3 of a series called Infliction. This is written by Peter J. Tomasi, another writer that I do like. I like him. He's a modern guy. And okay, so we're getting some middle chapters. Then we have Batgirl. There she is. And this one is from May of 2020. So these are really recent. For the title page, don't see it there toward the front. This is Inner Light. Inner Light. I have no idea what's going to be going on in this. Doesn't give a chapter title, so maybe standalone, probably not. That's another thing why I like reading older comics right now, is because I can get the whole set and binge read basically, but there's also a lot more one-shot type of stories, and I do like being able to read a beginning, middle, and end. The Monster Men thing did give me that. This is the one that makes me laugh just a little bit. Wonder Woman number 755 is also the front comic in the Wonder Woman set that they have. So they are actually doing two of these packages at least have Wonder Woman in it, and it's the same comic. Again, we got the Scoob ad, only in theaters, May 15th. And let's see, did I read the... This is June 2020. So yeah, these are pretty recent. Pretty recent. This is the Four Horsemen, the Four Horsewomen, part 1. So this is the kind of thing that I want to look for. This is the kind of thing where I would think that they would be looking to do when they're trying to do this kind of a loss leader, maybe, but also as they're looking at trying to get new readers. That's the one thing that drove me nuts about some of these titles that they were doing for the 100-page giants, is that those weren't really the best to bring in new readers. However, they were tied in. A lot of the titles were titles you would recognize from the screen. Aquaman, Swamp Thing, Titans. These are all things that were on the screen one way or another. So Aquaman and Superman and Batman, obviously big screen stuff. But then you had Swamp Thing, and Titans, which are on DC Universe. And then you had The Flash, and which would be the CW side of things. And so it was all things that kind of tied into screen stuff that was going on. But the other thing that drove me nuts about it was that they were really hard to track down and hard to get the full series. So if you just found it and they're right there, you're going to be getting like number 4 and number 5. And so I didn't know if the plan was to try and get new readers. And I'm not sure with this if the plan is to try and get new readers. But for me, if I'm going to become a new reader, I want to see something like this, which is the jumping on point for a new storyline, the Four Horsewomen. Now, I may not go out and try and get the next 5 or 6 issues of Wonder Woman, but I am more than likely, if I really like this, going to be interested in getting the collected edition, like I did with Night of the Monster Men. So, that is my report on the first of these Walmart things. And I realize right now my YouTube channel, the only theme with 2 videos is that it has to do with comics that you can only get at Walmart. Although these you can only get at Walmart packaged together like this. You can get those issues anywhere you want, as far as if your local comic shop has back issues. But I promise you, I don't only buy comics at Walmart, and I will be getting into some of these. I have some really neat packaged comics like this. I'm really excited to open up and see what's inside, because my whole goal with opening these things up is to read them and to hopefully find something new that I really, really enjoy. That's my goal with all of these, and that's why when I was looking at this one in Target, I'm like, Captain America. $1.25 on there on the cover price. Boy, that takes me back to the day. But this is an old comic. This Action Comics one here, Primal Fear, it's got that ape in there, you know. But this will be next episode. I almost said next issue. This will be next episode of the Comic Book Time Machine's YouTube channel. On the podcast, I'm not sure when it's going to show up. It might not be next episode. In fact, I know it's not going to be next episode. But I will be opening this up soon. I'm very excited to. But this was more timely, opening up these Walmart issues. So that's what I went with. And the funny thing to me is that out of this set that was really packaged as a Batman-centric set, and it was, you know, you got Detective Comics, you got Batman, you got Batgirl, but the one that I'm most excited about is Wonder Woman. And yet at the same time, if I'm going to get all of these sets, this is the one, I'm going to end up with 2 copies of this. What am I going to do with 2 copies of a comic book? I don't know. So, thanks for watching or listening, and hopefully, you know, we'll be doing more of these videos. We'll see. Also, hopefully, I might have central air by then, because right now my house is very warm, and so I don't know how much you can see that I'm kind of sweating, but I promise you it's not because, you know, I got winded climbing the stairs or something like that. It is because I'm sitting in a very warm room, and I had to turn off the fans because I didn't want to ruin the sound quality, and I'm trying something different with the sound as well. Usually I use a microphone, a studio mic, and this time I'm just seeing what happens if I just use the mic on my iPad. We'll see. I don't know what YouTube people do, you know, because I'm new to this thing, and so we're just gonna see how it sounds. And I just figured, hey, the house is quiet right now. That was part of my Father's Day gift, actually, was that everyone went upstairs earlier than they would normally, and I got the main level to myself here. And so I'm about to turn on a movie and do some podcast editing. So anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've tracked down any of these from Walmart, any of their new this new initiative. I was really surprised. The press release came out Monday or Tuesday, and then they said it would be hitting stores this week. So I went to my Walmart this weekend, and sure enough, they were all there. And that was pretty quick. Now, this is something that they've been working on for, I'm assuming that this is something that, a deal that they've been trying to figure out for a little while now. And I also wonder how much distributing these comics in this format has to do with not being able to distribute comics in the numbers that they expected because of the whole COVID thing and Diamond Distribution shutting off their delivery, and then DC canceling the orders to Diamond. And now DC having changed and using 2 different distributors for depending on where you are in the United States. And so I do wonder if this is in some ways just trying to figure out a way to get rid of some of these comics that are just in the warehouse that never were able to be delivered. I don't know. I don't know. I'm curious about that. I don't know if I'll ever find an answer to that. But that's one thing that I wonder, just because they are so new and they're not variant covers. So when they did these at Walmart with Marvel Comics, you're always getting one comic that has a variant cover. And that's the whole thing, is you buy that set, you know you're going to get this, it's a collector's edition, it's a collector's item. And with this, it's just kind of random comics. So, but you do know, if you go to Walmart and you get this Batman set, you are going to get these 3 comics. They're going to come with it. So, again, thanks for listening. I hope you had fun watching. I hope you had fun talking about comics for a moment. Let me know if you seek these out. Let me know what you think about this whole thing with Walmart. And also, I just hope that you are enjoying your comics, because if you don't enjoy reading your comics, then you're doing something wrong, or somebody else is doing something wrong. But if you don't enjoy it because you don't like them, stop reading them. Find something you do like. There's something out there. So, Godspeed, everyone. Thanks again.